Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. This will be the Taroscope for the sign of Cancer. That's Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising for the month of February 2025. Before we get started, I'd like to welcome my new subscribers and welcome to my tried and true who've been with me for years. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon and also my members on my new membership on YouTube. Thank you so much for supporting my work. Now, I do want to point out that we have moved into a new vibration come 2025, and that would be a universal year vibration of a 9. And so I'm just saying this at the beginning of each of these readings for those of you who are checking your ascendant and your sun and your moon. You've heard this perhaps already, but we are in a 9-year vibration. 9 is the Hermit card. It is a time of separating the wheat from the chaff. It's a time of healing. It's a time of sharing your wisdom, sharing your light, and deep investigations, okay? Perhaps into the meaning of life or the meaning of certain events that we are all witnessing. We're in the second month of the year, the second month of February. The 2 vibration in the tarot is the High Priestess. The High Priestess sits on the path that directly connects the crown chakra to the heart. So this is direct downloads from spirit, direct downloads from spirit this month. This is also the card of secrets. So secrets can be revealed. As to whether you want to share those secrets, that will be up to you. But there is definitely information coming from source. And then when we add those 2 vibrations together, we get the 11 vibration, which of course is the sign of justice. Both the 11 and the 2 are highly sensitive numbers, and so we have high psychic sensitivity. And then, of course, the Hermit making sense of it all. So these are the 3 vibrations just from the numbers of February 2025. Okay. So let's, the first thing we're going to look at is the astrology. I am going to timestamp this. So for those of you who are only interested in the tarot reading, you can skip to that, click on the time, and you'll go right to that. So let me get started here and share this with you. Alrighty. Okay, here we go. I think we start here. All right, so just making it bigger. There we go. Okay. So just a little something about these charts that I'm using that I have created actually. When a planet is in a water sign, I color it blue. When it's in an air sign, yellow. When it's in an earth sign, green. And when it's in a fire sign, red. Now, I have a few extra planets in here, so just follow what I'm saying. I'll point. You will notice that there is a preponderance of blue in this chart. Yes, meaning that there are a lot of things going on in the water signs, mainly the sign of Pisces. Now, I do want to point out that the North Node has recently shifted from Aries into Pisces. The mean direction of the nodes are retrograde. And so while the planets will run from Aries to Pisces in a chart, the nodes actually go backwards. They go from Pisces to Aries, kind of. And so we are in Pisces now. The North Node is in Pisces. And so we're being asked to move in the direction of compassion, humanitarianism, unconditional, impersonal love, forgiveness. Did I say that? Healing. But Pisces can also be very idealistic and very imaginative, and we have to make sure, and very escapist. And so we might see ourselves being more exhibiting that tendency is what I want to say. Okay, just be aware of that. It's easy enough to get yourself all sort of utopian and not actually see what's really going on. We do have the South Node in Virgo to remind us of reality. However, there's a certain amount of letting go of the reality of the past, um, in order to create a new future energy. Okay, so the sun starts the month in the sign of Aquarius. That is your eighth house. It's there until the 18th when it moves into Pisces. Pluto is now squarely in that eighth house. Pluto likes being in the eighth house. Pluto is in Aquarius now for the next 19 years. So um, the eighth house has to do with how how we share our feelings, our bodies, our emotions with others. It's the resources that we have, um, sort of based on sharing shared resources with others, right? The eighth house is the house of taxes. It's the house of inheritance. It's the house of shared resources. And with Pluto there, we can, over the next 19 years, we can definitely expect a redistribution of resources. Now, I do want to point out that this is for Cancer, and the United States is a Cancer, as what else is Canada as well. Both Canada and the United States are Cancer countries. And so that redistribution of resources will apply to, of course, the United States and also Canada. Uh, so, yeah, so that's something to look forward to. We have Venus move into Aries. That's actually the first thing that happens in the month. Venus ingresses into Aries. Venus is going to have a retrograde cycle this year, and it starts a new star point, and it's going to be a Venus in Aries star point, becomes the morning star. So Venus is now sort of uh, moving in quickly as February starts. She's sort of, in a way, she's how do I want to say it? She's taking the lead here. She's taking the lead, and then she will retrograde and make a conjunction to the sun, and then she will be behind the sun, but she will be first up rising. So it's a little hard to explain that. I'm just going to say it, and I'm not going to necessarily show you how you get there because it's more complex than what this is about. But we do have Venus moving into your 10th house, and it will be retrograde in that 10th house and in the ninth house, the two most public houses. And so you're going to be putting your values out there, Cancer, and you might have to take a step back. You might have to rethink about a few of them. And then eventually, when it goes direct again, you'll be able to put those new values forth. What else do we have here? Jupiter stations direct. Yep, Jupiter in your 12th house, Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter likes the 12th house, likes being in the 12th house. Doesn't necessarily like being in Gemini, but it'll deal. Jupiter's pretty optimistic as an energy, but it does station direct and starts to move forward. This is a very potent dream time for you, Cancer. So your dreams can be prophetic at this time. And, as long as Jupiter sits there in that house, and Jupiter is going to be in that house for another about 6 months, 5 months. It's already been in about 6 months. So Jupiter spends about a year in a sign. So it's already been through its first forward motion, now it's backward motion, and now it's going to go forward. And then eventually it's going to move into Cancer, which is your first house. And Jupiter loves being in Cancer. So that's something to look forward to. I believe that's happening in July, June or July. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly. We also have Mars stationing. Mars in your sign of Cancer, sort of been started its retrograde period on the 6th of December. That was it was at 7 degrees of Leo, so it was just into that second house. And then on January 6th, it moved back into Cancer, and it will be in retrograde in Cancer until the 23rd of February, when it stations direct and then starts to move forward. So what would normally be a 6-week stay in, say, we'll just say your first house, because that's the majority of the time is in Cancer. It's actually about 6 months. So in that first house, Mars, it can be frustrating, but it can also be a really good time to evaluate your habit patterns. Mars is about energy. If you're low energy, you need to reevaluate why that may be. Maybe you need some different kind of different diet, some rest, some self-care. A lot of times cancers are taking care of everybody else and forget to take care of themselves. So something very important to think about. We have a full moon in the sign of Leo. That full moon is going to be the moon in your second house, and then the sun, which is always opposite the moon and a full moon, will be in the eighth. This is the house of values. This is the axis of values, right? It's also the axis of life and death, and and what's really important to you. You know, what values do you have? What values do you share? Um, for the most part, everything's about values on planet Earth, right? All right, so that is that. And of course, the full moon in Leo is usually a pretty jolly moon, jolly full moon, even in the worst of times. So enjoy your resources, enjoy the resources you share with others. This can be a time of a sense, even if you don't have it, a sense of abundance, a sense of gifts, being bestowed. I like that. I think we'll stick with that. Mercury ingresses into Pisces. Where is it here? It's in Aquarius, moves into Pisces. So it moves from that eighth house into the ninth house. Your mind will be focused on things like justice and what is true. All of this energy in the ninth house really is you coming to terms with what is true and what is not true. We do have a new moon in at 10 degrees of Pisces in that ninth house. That would be a good time if you were going to plan a trip, especially a long distance trip, to put the plans in motion at that time. You don't necessarily have to travel um, immediately, but you can start planning with that new moon. That new moon happens, I think it's the 27th of February. And Mars, I said Mars, right? I talked about Mars stationing. All right, so that's really what's going on here. Um, Uranus still in the 11th house in Taurus. That just went retro, what just went direct at the end of January. Now is moving forward. It is going to dip into um, Gemini this year, so that's going to change a lot of things. But it's going to go back into Taurus, so it's not. It's just dipping its toe into Gemini, and then moving back into Taurus, where it will be finished up by the beginning of next year. So we still have a few more Taurian lessons, earth lessons, perhaps money lessons, perhaps value lessons um, with Uranus and Taurus. All right, so that's kind of what the month holds for you, Cancer. Okay, let's stop the share. All right, so now I'm going to do a card reading, and I think I'll use the Crow Tarot for you guys. All right, so what does the sign of Cancer need to be aware of February 2025? The energy of February is really one of self-care, um, a lot of awareness, but not a lot of action. I don't feel like February is particularly action-oriented, but we do need to sort of evaluate the information coming in. We're going to have a lot of information come from spirit or from your guides, however you get your information, everybody sort of gets it in a bit of a different way, but it's certainly a highly psychic time for all of us. So we do need to be careful about what we allow in our energy fields. And I think that's going to be true for a while. So, all right. We have death. We start with death. We start with transformation. There's a part of you, there's something about you that has passed away, and you are rising up from the ashes of that. You are rising up from your old self into a new way of being. And so there is a certain amount of trepidation because you're not really sure what's ahead. You know what's done. You know what's dead. But what's coming, so there's an expectancy, maybe a little nervous stomach here as you rise up from the ashes of your old life. The challenge, the six of wands is a victory card. um, you have uh, victory over death, perhaps. Maybe some of you have had some physical ailments that you've been able to overcome. And then the question is, what's next? What do I do next? Now I have this new sense of life. Uh, what's my plan? How can I be victorious? You kind of want to start figuring those things out for yourself. Underneath it is the high priestess. This is secret information. Remember, this is one of the cards associated with this month, making it very important. It's at the root. And so there are mysteries. Now, these mysteries maybe you know about, or maybe you don't know about. And I think you're deciding, I think you know what I'm talking, what's maybe unknown to others. And perhaps you're debating whether you want to share that information or not. Let's see. In the past, you've had to really protect your boundaries. You've had to be very careful about who you let into your circle. In the sky, oh, the Queen of Cups. This is one of your cards. This is the Psychic Queen. So this is sort of in the sky energy. So people will see you as the Psychic Queen. I believe you have the Queen of Cups at the top, and you have the High Priestess at the bottom of this reading. These are both very sort of psychic cards. They're both connected to the moon, the feminine, the divine feminine. Um, so you are this rebirth that you are experiencing is not one that is just a personal for you. People are seeing it, and people want to know, how did you, or what do you see, or that. We have temperance in the immediate future. This is the card of the month. This is about balancing, not getting caught up in extremes, one foot in front of the other. It is a spiritual initiation of sorts. It doesn't guarantee that it's not, well, it's never an easy road. This is the path of the mystic. This is not never easy, but it's doable if you put one foot in front of the other. And when you get to the other side, you're going to be further transformed. So, but it does say temper your actions. So you need to get enough rest. You need to have enough work. Everything has to be in balance this month for you, because that will help to heal you. Because even though you're rising up from the ashes, there's still some things you need to be cautious around for yourself. How you're seen from the outside. The sun, people are seeing you. People are seeing your light, um, whether you- whether you're trying to or not, quite frankly. In your domestic situation, you have the Seven of Cups. There's a little bit of a confusion, maybe confusion around choices, what choices to make next. I think that's just a general sense for you anyway. One of the things that you don't want to do is you want to be optimistic, but you don't want to delude yourself, because we've had lessons around that. And so I think that you're just being very careful about the direction you're deciding to go in. But I think you don't need to, that's not what it's about. What it's about for you this month is one foot in front of the other. Hopes and fears, the Knight of Cups. Someday my prince will come. Like, don't we all want love, offerings of love? Either offerings of love from others, or people accepting your offerings of love. Outcome, the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, change, change, change. Everything is changing. You need to stay, you're in this very sort of transformational, morphogenic, so many options here. And but no, I feel like no decision needs to be made at this time. You just need to sort of center yourself and watch what goes on around you without committing to anything in particular. Because things aren't settled down enough yet. Let's see what's underneath it. We have loss and sorrow. Well, I can imagine what that might be. The Knight of Pentacles, this is about um, um, protecting what you've built up to this point, very important. And then the Queen of Swords, nobody's going to mess with you. You have good judgment here. So there's this definitely energy of coming out of a difficult period, but being transformed by it and still being very cautious about who you're letting in. And I think that's a good idea for you because it's a very sensitive time, I think for that. Okay, great, 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 great. So I'm going to pull one more. I like those cards for you, Cancer. I'm going to pull a Starseed Oracle card, and then we'll be all set with this for Cancer. All right. All right. Starseed Oracle. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't read these upside down anyway. Advice for Cancer for February 2025. Advice for Cancer. Advice for Cancer. So we have, as a Cancer, the moon is very important. We have that full moon in Leo. And then we have the new moon in Pisces. So the moons are always important for the Cancer. You're a moon ruled sign. That's why you're so moody. You're so moody. Okay, I'm a Cancer. We just have a lot of feelings that we're dealing with. And a lot of times we like to deal with those in isolation. We don't like the interference of other people when we're trying to figure out what we're feeling. The Cosmic Heart. There you are, Cancer. A beautiful card. The Cosmic Heart. Okay, what does the Oracle say? But that's a C. Yes, it is. Okay. So it says, here we go. Devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. When you surrender to a state of devotion, you find yourself flowing with all of life. You're being called to refocus your attention deep within to the intelligence of your own heart, to bow with deep reverence to your inner temple, to live your life in devotion to this place, to make your life one big moving prayer. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. It says there is a season for harvesting and a season for sowing. Right now, you're being called to plant your soul seeds and sing to them with deep devotion, to feed them with the sweet waters of your own soul, to lose yourself in the potency of what it is that most expands your heart, to live your life according to what sorry about the phone, makes you come alive. So really, this is a time of introspection. Excuse me, a minute. Okay. Sorry about that. This is Michael trying to get me. All right. So take it easy this month, Cancer. Um, it is a time that, especially with all the energy in Pisces, you being a water sign as well, it's time to take things slow. Uh, it's okay if you're not available for everybody at all times. Um, Not a problem. Okay, so take care of yourself. Have a wonderful month. I think it's going to be generally a good month because many, I think you especially, are going to be sort of paying attention to what's happening on the inside as opposed to what's happening on the outside. And cancers are naturally attuned to that anyway. So I think it's going to be a good month for you. Still some healing to be had, but it will be had. Take care of yourself, everyone. I'll see you again next month. Until then, namaste.